You're
Sure,
right.
not for
Well,
rogue.
let's jump to my favorite class, the shaman. So pretty interesting changes here as well. Ancestral guidance is getting removed altogether. So that's for all shaman specs, which means that your elemental and enhancement shamans will not have this option to off heal now in a 2-minute cooldown. Now, that I guess from like group perspective doesn't make much sense to me because okay, AG was definitely very powerful back in the day. They nerfed it, and
Yeah.
with it they actually nerfed the way that it worked for Resto as well. Because at the beginning of Dragonflight, Ancestral Guidance was a cooldown that you could use to heal through boss mechanics as a restoration, I mean. Although you could actually use it on Enhancement Shaman to heal through boss mechanics as well, right? So they nerfed it, and in its current state, what's in the game right now, it's actually not very powerful. A lot of people actually, as Restoration Shamans, press it in conjunction with their Ascendants so that they get a little bit more power for it. I personally press it as a feeler where I don't need much healing, but just a little bit extra. But honestly, in its nerfed variant, I'm not sad to see it gone because I was kind of used to pressing it as a cooldown, and now it's not, right? So from restoration perspective, it's bad to see it gone. I'm not gonna feel sorry about it, but I don't get why they're reducing it and removing it from the DPS specs. Now, we've been talking about having less defensives, having less help for the healer from the other classes so that all the healing is actually done by the healer and you're not dependent on your teammates.
True.
But then if you're doing that, then you should do it for all the classes, not just like the shaman and everybody else still has their defensives and group wide um, uh, damage mitigations. But yeah, anyway, so that's a huge change for the game in general. I'll mention that both Elemental and specifically Enhancement are getting huge changes. And as much as I would like to see tuning and changes to many of the specs and the classes, it feels like too much lately. I'll just say that because I play both specs, all three specs on the Shaman, and some of those changes basically make it a brand new spec. So you kind of have to learn it from scratch. That was the case throughout Dragonflight. That's the case now. So it's a lot of volatile changes, and I don't know. I'm not complaining, but it's also too much at some point. I think that's worth noting. And then moving on to Restoration Shaman, they're focused on simplification and removing some of the keybinds. So that is actually that's something that's going to be quite welcome because the Shaman is one of the classes with a lot of buttons. They are combining the mana tide with your healing tide totem. So that is interesting. It's going to right now you use those separately in raid. You basically pop your mana tide as soon as you can so that you can use it again later in the fight. Now you have to be more careful when and how to use that, but at least you're gonna get it in Mythic Plus as well because you don't run mana tide in Mythic Plus. So that's a welcoming change there. New talent, Earth Shield and Water Shield are not going to consume charges anymore. So that's one less maintenance button that you have to press because you're basically renewing the Earth Shield constantly on your tank. They're eating charges like crazy. Healing Wave is doing a little bit more healing to targets with your Echo. And then let me see what are the other interesting one. Downpour is getting some rework, which means that now you have more time to press it after you cast your Healing Rain or Surging Totem. That is quite welcome because right now you kind of feel pressure to press it right away once you cast them. So that is that is very nice. Some changes and some talent builds are getting shaken up. So we'll see how that plays up with the new talents and some of the talents that are getting removed. And let me see what else was there. And oh yeah, so another big thing. Primordial Wave is removed. Primordial Wave for Restoration Shaman is removed. You have no idea how many comments I would get once I do a Shaman guide or something like that. People would say, "Oh, please give me a build that doesn't play Primordial Wave," because Primordial Wave is kind of like a Disc Priest. You have to like set it up. You have to have the Riptides going to everybody, and then you pop that, and then you cast your Healing Wave, and it heals everybody. Now, Primordial Wave actually followed a little bit the Ancestral Guidance route. It got nerfed to the ground for the War Within, so people actually ended up not using it. And I see a trend there. Like when Blizzard is going to remove something, at least when it comes to Shamans, they're first nerfing it to the ground, and then they're like slowly removing it silently in the background.
Yep.
Now, Primordial Wave, I don't think many people are going to miss. I actually made a small video of people being happy about it, you know, because we've been asking about this for a long time. And the takeaway here is, you know, if something is not working for your class, if something is inconvenient and you don't want to play it, I guess if you keep crying about it, eventually you might win.